Hi beautiful people, welcome back to Kweshunga. My name is Penelope Sanyu. I am your beautiful host. I am delighted that you have chosen to come back and spend time with us. It's been beautiful spending time with you. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking, thank you for all the comments. You guys are the bomb. Thank you so much. Now, for those of you who are joining us for the very first time and are wondering who is this crazy woman talking about Kweshunga and what the hell is Kweshunga? Kweshunga is our space to be inspired, to play and to live authentic lives. And Kweshunga is a Runyankole word that means playfulness. So we're here to play, we're here to have fun, and we're here to have meaningful conversations that build our lives, but in a not so serious manner, really. We're just going to chill and have a blast. Today, the person I'm hosting is my big sister, and she is also a very influential person in this country. What serious people look at her and call her madam. And so I am happy to have her sitting with me here today talking about intentional dating. She's not an expert in dating, but she will talk about intentional dating. Welcome to the show, Ronna.
Thank you, Penny, for having me. Thank you for having me.
So who is Ronna? What does she do? Of course, I already said you're my big sister and all those things that I said, but how do you want our Kweshunga audience to know you as?
Okay, so, wow, you know, it's so strange that I get to talk about myself, but when I'm asked that question, a million things run into my head. But my name is Rhona Arinaitwe. Like Penny said, I'm actually her younger sister.
Big sister.
Big sister. I'm a communications consultant. I do PR and communications, digital marketing. And I keep telling people that if I didn't have to do my day job, I would be a teacher. I love to teach. I love to share my experiences with people in a cozy way. I'm not yet the stage kind of person, but I love to share. I love to teach. And I'm a Christian, so my spirituality is quite at the center of who I am and the decisions that I make. So I think that's important because it will help with the conversations that we are going to have.
Yeah.
Other than that, I love to dance. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here, Penny.
Love to dance, Christian, what, you guys. Anyway, one day I'll talk about myself, but today is not my day. Ronna, you wrote a book.
I did.
Listen, so people in my family are smart like this. We write books, we do what. So she wrote a book about dating, and her book is titled Intentional Dating. Before I get on to why you wrote the book and what the book is about and whatever, what's Ronna's journey? What's Ronna's story? Why in the world would anyone wake up and write about dating? Okay, I wouldn't, but yeah, we will understand why you wrote about dating. What's Ronna's story? So beyond the person we see who loves to dance, beyond, what's your story?
Oh, wow. Okay. So...
And of course, you can't tell us the whole story in like all your 40 years in 3 minutes.
This is how people on this show are treated. Yo! Yeah, and my birthday was just last month, but
your 40th birthday was last month,
come on. Okay. So let's see. Wow. I was raised in a big family. So I'm a person that grew up with my cousins, brothers, sisters. We're kind of all raised up in a big family. So we learned to share, we learned to love. We also learned to fight, but also fight and still love. So that's very, very big thing. The most memorable thing that has anchored who I am is that every holiday, all of us, no matter which family you came from, we all had to gather to one place. That's my grandparents' house. So every kid was shipped out to the village and we all had to wake up, go through a certain experience and everything. So Penny and I usually make jokes about our life back then. But when you look back, you see it's something that nurtured me into who I am today in terms of waking up early, because man, my grandmother would never let you sleep past 6. So these days, I have a biological clock of 5 a.m. and I keep telling myself, why can't I let myself sleep?
Yeah.
But it's something that has been ingrained. So when I look back at my life experiences, I see that these moments are the ones that have shaped who I am in terms of my work experience, in terms of how I relate with people. Growing up in a big family teaches you to, not be that person, to be social, to love, to give, to fight, but still to be able to fight and love. So that's quite in a nutshell of who I am.
Okay, so in your journey, I've not heard anything about dating. So anyone who has dated this woman, today we are outing you on the show. No, Bambi, no. We are not going to do any such thing. But
yeah. But I want to be as real. So Bambi, you're going to be okay.
Brace yourselves. Yeah. So no. Let's talk a bit about your relationship life, because it's an anchor and foundation for why you wrote the book and where the book is. I want to talk about the book as the last resort, but let's hear a bit about your journey with dating. What's been your experience? Are you dating somebody right now? Okay, the freezing of, oh my God. If I say I'm dating someone, I'm dating someone's. Maybe there are many, but today we shall listen.
I am trick questions. Yeah.
I am out to get my sister today, and we are going to. Anyway, yeah. So, are you dating someone? Have you dated anyone before? What has that been like? What lessons are you learning as you get out or into different relationships? Because I presume, at our big age, you can't have dated one person.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but I don't think we have.
Yeah.
So yeah, which people, which lessons have you learned getting in and out of different relationships? What is the common thread in dating?
Okay.
What has dating been like generally for you? Yeah.
Okay. So let me begin just from what I said, that I grew up in a big family and we had our grandmother, and she was like a mother hen. She was so protective. And if anybody has grown up in a traditional African homestead, conversations on men and women, and on conversations that we have authentically, the conversations you have about, I'm going to use some Nyakode words. Otagamana bashija noenda kusiskara.
Literally translated, you will be spoiled if you talk to men.
You were taught that if you talk to men, you're going to get spoiled.
Yeah.
So there was there's not so much, you get up, you get into the world, you have no clue what you're dealing with. And also I went to single-sex girls' schools that were Catholic schools. Bless the nuns for teaching me good manners. But
which ones?
St. Joseph's Girls in Zambia. I went to Mary Hill. So there was that whole thing of woman, protect the flower, don't talk to guy, be holy, and everything.
Oh, so, the flower, guys, is your virginity?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I get out with all this background. I don't know what I'm dealing with. Yeah. I get to campus. Now, campus was crazy.
Let loose, I have no rules.
You meet people are dating, people are talking to these guys, then you have your other crew. So first year was a bit strange for me. I was like, okay. Now second year I had these groups of friends, would go out and then would have these guys, would buy Javas, and I'm like, okay, so is this how this is like?
So dating is about, take someone out, buy food.
Let them buy you something. And I'm like, okay, so indeed, the first person I dated, I had to make sure they were able to afford me certain things. And to me, it was more of, okay, I think all you need is a person who bankrolls you, who pays for you certain things, and that's what dating is. So with time, I realized that relationship was not working for me. Even at that age, I realized by the time I was getting out of campus, I realized, okay, this person is not working for me because there's those
beyond the good things I'm receiving.
Those kinds of relationships come with a bit of certain things that you can't, So I still have the same mentality. I get into another relationship, which is what they say, date Kampala men, and then you will know you have learned. That was the lesson.
So you got the uniform, you got the retakes, you got everything. You were schooled.
Okay, no, I think that was my university.
No, that has not for retakes.
So I'm in this relationship. You get in. you're wondering, so what's up? 3 years, you're in, you're young, you're thinking, no, we're just having fun. So we had fun, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I'm like, okay, but this fun, at what point?
When do we stop that fun?
When does this turn into something? So I start to have a conversation after the 5 years of, okay, so where do you see this going? Imagine having this conversation after 5 years.
It has been said that when you begin to ask for the relationship to be defined for you, it's your cue. In fact, the cue has already passed, but yeah.
So I had the thing of being a relationship, commit to it, but I didn't know what to expect and what certain standards to set within a relationship. So here I was in a relationship, dating for 5 years, and it's let's go out, let's have booze, let's have fun, but it's not leading anywhere.
Yeah.
So you're in this relationship 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I'm like, okay, I think I need to hit a reset button and figure out what exactly have I done wrong. The love, the excitement is there, but this is clearly not progressing. So that's the moment I took in terms of let me introspect, and some of the things that I share in the book, because I took a year off just to figure out what exactly
do I want?
What did I do wrong? What is the journey that led me here? And those are some of the stories that I actually am able to share in the book.
5 years.
7 years, girlfriend.
7 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that I am a committer, and so when I say I'm a committer, I mean when I choose you, I have chosen you. Like,
sure.
I don't have time to waste and start, here and here. I don't eat mpuanchi like Waganda say, I'm for the main meal. We are home, let's eat the main meal. We're not going to eat side things as we get home. So I know that I commit to things. 7 years, although in my commitment, I also ask so many questions. Like, so what does this mean? So where is this going? So I guess that's why I'm still single. Because really, what is this? Like, we will... Yeah, my alarm goes off really quickly. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? What are you doing? I also like to tell people that I guess it's a good thing. You said you are a Christian, and I am a Christian. I know that certain things don't happen unless God has revealed them. So I know that sometimes things have happened to me in my relationships, and I have seen them coming. Like, I know my spirit will just be uncomfortable about certain things, and boom, something will happen. Did you ever see the 5 year, 7 year relationship ending, or were there things that you saw and said, I can handle this, maybe this I can handle. Even though I'm committed to this person, this is really leading nowhere. Why am I still holding on? Were there moments like that? Because sometimes we assume that, people just wake up and cut off a relationship.
No.
Or, there are things that happen within the relationships that you see that some people have called red flags or yellow flags or blue flags, whatever color you choose to see them as. Were there things that you saw for yourself, not even in your partner, for yourself to say, look, I cannot deal with this. I cannot stay with this. I cannot handle this. Yeah.
Okay. So, yes and no. And this is why. The book I write, it talks about intentionality. That if you're not intentional about certain things, you miss them. So some of these things, I learned them later when I had introspected. That, oh my God, I should have realized that. Oh my God, I should have set this standard. Oh my God, I should not have accepted that. But that happens after.
So in retrospect,
it
was just...
So after it had all happened. So in that season, in that moment, I didn't have conversations like this. I had known done in terms of what to expect. I pretty much were taking it all on. Someone is not committed, someone is not giving you support, but in your mind, like you said, your commitment person. And I think we are wired that way. So in my mind, I'm like, this is it. It needs to work. Whatever it's thrown out
we'll
to
make
me,
it work.
we'll make it happen. Whether the person is unsupportive, whether the person is uncommitted or what, I'll just deal with whatever they throw at me.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a factor of age.
Yeah.
Like when you're younger, you have, okay, depending on how you've been brought up, if you've been exposed to certain conversations, maybe your mindset is different.
Yeah.
But I wasn't that exposed. So when I was younger, I didn't have that much expectation. Like I said, in my mind, we were having fun. And, and indeed we were having fun.
Yeah.
And it was until you reach a certain age when you start to grow into a space of, okay, what's the meaning of my life?
Yeah.
What
does fun look like?
Yeah, what
is
do
the
I want
definition
to
of
see
fun?
my life, purpose? When you get into that conversation, you start to dig deeper into the circles, that relationship you're in. Does that support the dreams that you actually have now? Because younger, you're all about the fun. Now, when the fun, you're outgrowing that, you start to realize, maybe this is not going to work for me. So that's what happened. I realized that this was not compatible. This was never going to work with the dreams that I want to have. And that's when I started preparing myself to actually get out of the relationship. So I made a decision that on the 5th year that this was not going to work. But I had been in the relationship for so long. There's a syndrome, I'm forgetting what it's called. Like when you're attached to your kidnapper, that thing.
I've forgotten also,
Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah, so it was that kind of thing that you're attached to this person.
Like you're drawn to your abuser.
Yes, you're attached to them. You've been with them for long. I remember at some point I actually convinced myself, you know what, you've already put in the time. You might as well do it. Having left is what
it's 7 years. What more do I have to
Yeah,
lose?
let me just put it all in. And it's until I had conversation with certain women of, girl, me who has been married, or with a 10-year marriage, I've gotten out for my own sanity. You, a young girl who is not 20, even committed, you think this is the end of your life. So it was after the exposure that you're able to know that this is not what I want.
Yeah.
I want better for myself. You set certain standards, and then you realize that some mistakes that you created, and you learn from that. Yeah.
So, what is intentional dating really? What is that about? Yes, we've talked about what inspired the book, but what do you talk about in the book? What are the key themes in the book that you felt, okay, these are my lessons. I have picked all these things up in my 20s. Here I am throwing them in a book so that they can help other young women who have, who are making the same mistakes I make, because this is a journey. There's no destination. Even while you're intentionally dating, there are mistakes you make.
Definitely.
So yeah, what are the key themes, and what is intentional dating?
And I like what Penny you've said, that I'm not a dating expert. I'm not even going to say that. Or am I a serial dater? But
I wish you were.
Or am I a serial dater? But for me, I'm just sharing the journey.
Yes.
That people can, whatever they can learn from it. So the book about intentional dating, or what intentional dating is, anything that you do without intentionality, you will drop. You have to know that this is where I'm at, and this is where we are walking towards.
Yeah, whatever you focus on expands. Or,
yes. So even in life, just in general, when you have goals, you work towards them. When you have no goals, your life is just ambiguous. Different things are just happening. So we need to have that intentionality, same in your relationship. So when you decide that you've met this person, what's your intention? Is this a relationship to just have fun? Is this a relationship to end in marriage? Is this a relationship, whatever it is that you want? So intentional dating for me, it's about entering a relationship with someone when you're working towards a specific goal.
So there's a school of thought, and I'll pause you there, because there's a school of thought that says, I subscribe sometimes to this school of thought, because things grow on me. Like, it's very rare that things just I don't believe in accidents. Like, things don't just accidentally spur on me. I sometimes you start things and there's really no intention. Like, we're just having a drink. That's it. Like, I don't even think I'll see this person again.
Yeah.
I don't even want to see this person again. Like, really, who are you? You didn't register. And then the drink becomes something else and something else and something else. And then you begin to actually date. And even as you date, it's can't we just date? Like, must we date to marry? Must we date to have children? Because you see, here's the thing about intentional dating that I struggle with also. And I'm playing devil's advocate here, so bear with me. What many women do in the form of intentionally dating is we build picket fences. So you meet a guy today, he has taken you out. Tomorrow you have seen how your children will look like. The other day you have names for the children, and in fact you've registered them to schools. You're sharing bank accounts, it comes off as needy and overwhelming yeah. So how what's the difference between I am focused, this is what I want, this is what I'm communicating, and I am building all this illusion in my head because the guy said, I really like your style. And you're like, oh my God, we are getting married. In fact, this is going to be my church wedding. I've set the date. The priest who's going to wed us is like, quickly, your brain, I am the queen of picket fences, so I know. Okay. You build this hotel fence and you don't know how to get down.
I know what you're saying, Penny.
Yeah.
I think let me begin with the thing about before you date, it's important that you go through a season of singleness. Because some of these things are built in there. This is the place where you set certain standards. Yeah. You set what you want and what you expect out of a partner. And here we are going to talk about what you expect out of a marriage partner. You're meeting person, you want this and this and out of a partner. The thing about setting this before you're in a relationship is...
It's not catching you off guard.
Yes, it's not catching you off guard. But also if you're intentional, you make sure before you attach yourself or are emotionally drawn to someone, you've actually had an objective season of about 3, 5, 6 months where you actually, I don't want to call it a checklist, but you're measuring if this is what you want before you actually put feelings. Problem is this, girls or a guy, you meet a person, then after a month you are just friends, then somehow you end up having sex and now there's an attachment. There's no objectivity in any way for you to even be able to measure this person. And I'll talk about intentional dating. It's not about building a dream. It's some of the things that I talk about is it's a season to see how compatible you are with this person. And there are matrices that you can use to measure sort of compatibility. Some of the 4 areas that I think about when it comes to compatibility is spiritual compatibility. How compatible are you with this person? Especially you and I are spiritual people. Is this a person that you're going to have an honest conversation about God with and they will understand you? Because this is something that anchors you. Are you able to tell them that I'm waking up at 5 a.m. to pray or giving 10% of our money for tithing? Like those things from a spiritual perspective.
Our money, your money.
Our money. Hey, become one. Your money, but my money.
Your money and mine.
For example, spiritual compatibility. Another one is emotional compatibility. You know, people always say, this person is my person. That thing of openness, transparency, trust. Are you able to be yourself around this person? Like that time, there's a guy I had a crush on, and every time they were around me, I just always felt like, oh my God, my accent needed to switch out.
Ronna! Now we know. Roger, somewhere, anybody, my family, you know where the accent came from. Like, now the truth has come out.
I was like, my accent needed to switch up. But, you know, you are genuinely...
No, I remember that season, sis.
You're genuinely not yourself. You get it? You see this person and you're not yourself. But are you able to be raw with this person? Yeah? So, physical compatibility. I do believe that. Forget the looks of, I want a guy with muscles and
tall, dark, and
handsome and everything. Yes, I don't think those are things to look out for, but still I believe that God will bring you a person you are attracted to. They don't have to have certain physical attributes, but you feel drawn to them. So do you find them attractive? Because many times when you date a person that you don't find attractive, you're always going to feel like
there's a better option out
there. You will always feel like I'm settling.
Something better.
Then when you are in the season of I'm settling, you do the bare minimum. You don't bring your best into the relationship. And then the other bit I can talk about is recreational compatibility. Like, would you guys sit here and jazz, or would you watch a movie together? Or it's going to be those things where you literally you have no KB, you have no recreation activities or anything. Then the most important one for me is financial compatibility. Because, man,
say it. Say it. Because the man,
you know what they say? But the financial compatibility is, do you have the same values when it comes to finances?
Money management, yeah.
Are you able to have, because money is a very, very important conversation. So are you able to have maybe it doesn't have to be a certain way. It could be, we will have separate accounts. Is that something that both of you can agree on? We will have joint accounts, family accounts, something that you can agree on. Our investment policy will be like this. So how compatible are you when it comes to those things? So the season of dating is not time for you to start planning your wedding. It's a time for you to be saying, how compatible are we when it comes to these specific things that are important in life? Yeah.
Anyway, there are so many questions going on in my head right now. And I'm thinking, so I want to talk a bit about attachment. And I know that there's an attachment syndrome. So many of us come from broken homes and we come from broken relationships and all we've known is brokenness. And when you get attached to people, when you meet people, the attachment sometimes is the first physical attachment, even without having sex, even without, connecting intimately or whatever. Because I know people who are attached to people even that are not, in a romantic relationship with them. So we are just attached to people and things because we are feeling a deficit, and not necessarily because this is a healthy relationship we are trying to build. And therefore, I realized that, oh my God, if Ronna talks to this person, why are you talking to this person? Like, why? It's not from a place of, I don't even know how to explain it, but I'll use an example. I had a friend before who never wanted me to hang with other people. Like, she would even say, you're cheating on us.
I get it.
But we're just friends. Like, what do you mean I'm cheating on you? Like you can't have other friends. She would even attack the other friends and be like, so what do you think you're doing with Penny? Like, we are just girlfriends. Like, there's nothing happening in there. But we are friends, and in her mind, if you're talking to other people, if you're laughing with other people and you're happy without me, you should only be happy with me. If you're not happy with me alone, then these other people are stealing you away from me. And we carry these mannerisms, these unhealthy attachments. That's just one of them. But we carry these unhealthy attachments into our dating spaces, and then
a person comes and you
just become toxic. Like people begin to resent you because you've become this person. Let's talk a bit about that. How do you deal with, because you said you come into the relationship to offer value. How do you enjoy your singleness before you become attached to somebody? So in this season of my singleness, if I don't know that I have an attachment issue, because nobody has ever told me I have an attachment problem, and yet every person that I get attached to, I burn. Somehow I get toxic. Somehow something happens. Like, I'm constantly burning relationships because I'm carrying something. And now here I am, I'm single, I'm getting ready. Yes, I know all these things, financial compatibility, what.
But you have nothing.
I have and people will say it's witchcraft. Your ancestors are chasing you down. They don't want you to settle in life. But some of these are character and behavior things.
Yeah.
So how do you then begin to cultivate healthy relationships with different people and then build towards a healthy relationship with a partner that you're choosing to spend the rest of your life with?
Okay. So I'm going to talk about this in two ways. So the first bit is, in your season of singleness, as you're trying to set these are my standards or whatever it is, self-awareness is a very key thing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe nobody should get married because they need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to want it, but it's not okay for you to need it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay for you to need any relationship
To define you.
Yeah, because you should be, I believe as a person, you need to first work on yourself and be whole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're going to be perfect. You probably will carry this into some of the relationship. But self-awareness is a very, very crucial thing. Because if you're not self-aware, then you end up with burning all the relationships.
Yeah.
So self-awareness for me, I'll give an example that I understood I did know that I don't like to talk in the morning.
Oh, where do people get energy to yell early morning?
I'll give an example. I didn't know I didn't want to talk in the morning.
And you people thought I had bad manners.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
So during COVID, I'm dating and then this person wakes up and they're trying to talk to me.
Wow.
I'm like, what is this?
What are you doing?
Why up and
with Kirby? Like what?
to a person? Like first give me 1 hour
Collect yourself.
to reset myself and everything. So I'm just giving an example of such a habit. Like I did not know until I was thrown in that environment of, oh my God, people wake up and talk to you. So for me, that was shocking that some of these things, you will not get it.
Yeah.
Penny, you will not be perfect by the time you are joined with the person.
Yeah, of course.
Your partner needs to be able to, or you need to be able to be patient enough that the person becomes better and better with time. So some of these things, you will know them, and then you will learn in the relationship to be a better person. Because none of us comes when they're perfect, but we all come as a work of progress.
Yeah.
But also in the season of your singleness, me, I love to evaluate. I like to introspect a lot. I believe there's a season where I did a survey.
Oh my God.
Yes! I did a survey to all my friends. My sister, she did one. She gave me a review. My boss back then, my close friends and everything. And in the survey,
did I say wise things?
Yeah, but Penny was tough.
I'm always tough.
So in the survey, I was asking myself that when I'm around, I asked people, when I'm around you, what's the most way that I impact you? Because I wanted to know that kind of energy that I bring into people, that I'm able to authentically have this. And I asked people who actually are able to give me this feedback. And I got a lot of this feedback. Some of the things that Penny talked about is, I sometimes just get into my bubble and forget that people exist. I used to pride myself in my ability to compartmentalize. Yes. You come, you tell me something, it bothers me. Then after 2 minutes, I just shut it out and you don't exist. And everything around it does not exist. So I remember even the time when, we were having issues with family and I just had shut them out.
Yeah.
So you're like, Rona, you can't be in a world like that. And I remember my friend Pam telling me that you're so hard on yourself. You want things to be perfect. You think things should move from A to B to C. You need to be more flexible. Like I received feedback about myself that I wasn't aware of. And the way they pointed it out, that I was able to be like, okay, so these are the closest of my relationships. And if they say these things about me, I need to be able to work upon them. And some of them have gone working upon them. So self-awareness is very, very key.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I think about intention, I'm thinking you're deliberate, you're putting in that time, you're putting in the money, you're investing in it. Like you're heavily invested in this thing, and so you're working towards a certain goal. That's intentional. You're really, we are not just playing games. There's no question in intentional dating. There's a bit of question, but like not every day. So like I'm working towards this journey. This is where we are both heading. We are in agreement, both of us, because
yes,
some of us are intentionally dating people who don't know that we are intentionally dating them.
I know.
Because there's also that.
Yes. Yes.
So when I hear you talk about all these things in intentional dating, it's not just a one-person thing.
it's
So
a
because
two-way.
dating is, we are doing this together. So we are both in agreement that this is where we are headed, and this is what we want to do to get there. With the writing of the book and, putting it out there and people receiving it, and, now it's been a year since you wrote the book. What's the journey after the book been like?
Okay.
Like what are you learning more, even as the book is out there and people are interacting with it? What are you learning about dating, this whole dating thing, and yeah?
So I think one of the biggest things that I'm learning is testing. There is a thing about having knowledge and experiences and the test of it. So, for example, you can learn a lesson, but you won't know if you've actually learned that lesson
Until it's tested.
until it's tested and you've put in a similar experience. So after that relationship, after all that kind of thing, after you've written this book, the relationship that made me,
Yeah.
I met someone. You remember the thing I told you about the master's degree? Yeah. It's like those things where you go to prayer and you're like, God, I love you. I have faith.
Yep.
I believe what? Until you are put to test and whether that faith will stand.
Yeah.
So I get into this relationship and I'm like, okay, so I've learned this and that. I'm able to spot this and this kinds of red flags, or this is what the conversation should be from the very beginning, and that kind of thing. So I learned more things actually in that relationship that I had not even included. That yes, you can get into a relationship about intentional dating. Yes, you can ask those things and everything. But like you said in the earlier beginning, that you can be intentionally dating someone when the person is not
intentionally dating you. Yes.
So there were elements of deception on the other side that I wasn't aware that you can actually come and we agree that we are dating
But
intentionally.
there's something
We
else
are
happening
moving
the other
towards
side.
this. We are doing this, and yet the other person probably is being
Different
is on a totally different journey. So even that lesson, that relationship taught me a lesson that indeed that sometimes, you learn more. You never
You learn on the job.
Yeah, you learn on the job. You learn more, but what helped is that relationship didn't last 8 years, because now quickly I was able to be like, within a couple of months, I'm like, you know what, this
Let's
is
call
definitely
it quits.
yeah, this is definitely not for me, because the thing about intentionality is you set and you start to monitor if you're moving towards those goals.
Yeah.
And the moment I started to see that there wasn't movement in that, I was able to quickly get out of that kind of relationship. So going back to what you've just said, that I've seen a lot of girls that I've had conversations with and engaged with, and how helpful the book has been. Because I think many of us, you're taught, go in, see how it ends, don't be so desperate.
Yeah.
Don't ask the guy, where do you see this goes from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You should be able to ask those questions, because we've been told not to ask certain things. So I've had beautiful conversations with people, sharing my dating experience. And I can't wait. Maybe the next time I'll be here, I'll be releasing another book or about marriage. So you don't know where it's all going. But
Authors speaking in the house. Anyway, I am going to upload her book somewhere. I don't know if she gives me the permission to, on my website, whatever. I will tell you where to get her book in the comment section, and she can also interact with you in the comment section so that you can get copies of the book, but also get to interact with her. Rona, one last word for our viewers, listeners, all the women out there who are seeking intentional relationships, who are seeking to date intentionally. What is the final word that you want to say to them before we close?
I want to say that the most important season of your life as a woman, or even as a man, is your single season. That before you decide to get joined with someone, spend a little bit of time with yourself and be so sure of what you want. Be complete. Don't get into a relationship because you feel it's a need. Get into it because it complements you where you are, so that you don't move that burden on your partner. And be intentional when you get one. Do not be afraid to ask the things that you need to ask. So what, he thinks you're going to be desperate. So what, but have a goal. Say we are working towards this. These are the milestones. This is where we should be when we are at that. And if that is not working, be enough for you to walk out and try something else, or even spend a little bit more time with yourself. But be comfortable in who you are before you're joined with someone.
You've heard for yourselves. Be yourself, be self-aware, but also cultivate value. Cultivate value, because you bring value to the table. Don't just come to take away, just come also to offer something. So thank you so much, Ronna, for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you for being on the show with us today. For all of you out there, I wish you great lives. I wish you great lives. I want you to thrive. I want you to be happy. I want you to play. I want you to enjoy yourselves. So try and seek these things out intentionally. Live, play, laugh, be happy, be intentional, be graceful, be merciful and gracious with yourself. Like, don't be so hard on you. You're doing the best that you can, girl. And we see you. We love you. We care about you. We want you to play and thrive and live a full life. And as we sign out, I want to thank the team at Agandi for making the Kweshunga crew look so dope and adorable. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We wish you the best. See you next time. Let's push.